serving officers, veterans, NCC cadets, students of various schools, ladies and gentlemen, people from the media, people from the academia, a very good morning to all of you. And let me begin by saying that it gives me great pleasure to be here at this Chandigarh Liberty Festival. I've been asked to speak on heartland and winland pass in multi-domain warfare and India's strategic stability in the emerging world order, partly alluded to by Dhanashekhar in his opening remarks. I found this to be a very, very interesting kind of topic because it combines the geographical location of a state in the context of its strategic importance and then extends it towards modern warfare. The subject is not only academic in nature but also highly relevant considering that the geopolitical events which are unfolding in front of us and the technological transformation the world is seeing. The subject actually, if you have a look at largely geographic, although the Chandigarh Day Festival focuses only on history. And let me say that it's a saying, so please don't mind, that people who don't understand the geography will find them condemned by history. Geography has shaped human evolution and military planning since antiquity. An ancient Greek scholar, Herodotus, had said that all history must be treated geographically and all geography must be treated historically. There is a close connection between the two. We also know that what is present today, including this particular seminar, is likely to be history tomorrow. So in fact, what we are doing is every day creating a future history. So the classical doctrines of Mackinder's heartland, Chanakya's mandala, and the geographical realities expressed in the doctrine of Mahan and sculpted destinies and defined the reaches of empires. Even in the present era, Tim Marshall, in its famous book Prisoners of Geography, said that the world map is not simply a canvas of borders, but a cartography of ambition and then constraints. For over a century, the struggle for global power has been, in essence, a struggle for control of geography. The seas, the continents, the skies. And if you look at today's context, it extends towards space, cyberspace, and cognitive domain. The location of nation states and its physical geography determines the ability to project power and exercise strategic options beyond its size. Look at two small nations, Djibouti at one end and Singapore. Both lie at Bab el Mandeb and Strait of Malacca, which are not only strategically important but also important for trade. Similarly, have a look at our nearest maritime neighbor, that's Indonesia. The number of states which connect the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, that is Sunda, Lombok, Malacca and Omiwata, all pass through. So not only Indonesia can exercise influence over trade which passes through these important straits, but also in case of conflict, it should be able to control overseas and undersea traffic passing these borders. Coming to some specifics of heartland and hinterland stories, geopolitical dominance, I believe, can be exercised through control over continental landmass or through maritime space. Alfred Mahan's seminal work on influence of sea power upon history, the heartland theory of Mackinder, and Spikeman's rimland theory, they all have to be seen in the context of the time when they were actually written. The first one actually was Alfred Mahan's. When he wrote his influence on sea power, that was, I think, at the beginning of 19th century, and he advocated that greatness and prosperity are effectively linked by sea power. He argued that command of the seas and the arteries of commerce dictate the fate of powers, right? And he gave examples of the Britain's control outpost to the American command of the two oceans. This was followed by, we all know, the Mackinder's heartland theory, and he suggested that the control of Eurasian core, which stretched from Volga at one end to Yangtze on the other, Himalayan mountains to the Arctic, anyone who controls that particular space would control the world. He actually said, allow me to recall what adage he used was, that who rules Eastern Europe commands the heartland, who rules the heartland commands the world island, and rules the world island, one who rules the world island commands the world. This particular saying encapsulates strategic imperatives of consolidating continental mass and resources. So basically, Mackenzie relied on mass and security, where consolidation and control decided land power. A Spikesman theory, which was presented almost about half a century later in 1942, posits that control not of the continental interior, but of the coastal arc that emanates from Europe to Middle East to India. Control of that particular area is important, and anyone who controls the ringland will be able to control the world. Between the three men, Mahan, Mackenzie, and Spikesman, they created a triad of geopolitical wisdom, with Mahan emphasizing on the logic of sea power, Mackenzie highlighting land power, and Spikesman giving us a balance between these two. Let me contextualize these two theories in the context of India and our immediate adversaries, that's Pakistan and China. So ancient India possessed of setting all kind of resources, and probably that's why we developed a kind of an insular outlook. India was very well protected by the Himalayas, mighty Himalayas in the north, and the Indian Ocean region towards the south. So India's culture, religious beliefs, and its doctrine of peaceful coexistence that spread through the passes of Hindu Kush and the Himalayas in the north, and across the Indian Ocean to Southeast Asia, and this all traveled through travelers, traders, and teachers. There was no physical conquest involved. India's political subjugation also came through the same openings in the Hindu Kush and by the discovery of sea routes to India. So history tells us that for the long-term security of India, India will have to have both a continental as well as a maritime. However, if you look at the geopolitical events of the 20th century, India's partition, the coming over Pakistan, our war with China, forced India to have a continental kind of an outlook. But if you have a look at India's geography, I think it tells us that India is both a continental and a maritime power. So we are a continental power because of a huge landmass. We are a continental power because a large amount of our population resides in the heartland. We are connected to the Asian landmass physically. We are a kind of a maritime power because of a peninsular shape jutting out into the Indian Ocean region. We have two island territories on the flanks, which provides us a huge amount of depth and security to the mainland. And if you have a look at a large number of countries which are resident powers in, say, Indian Ocean region, most of them are small littorals, or countries which are on the east coast of Africa, also significantly small. So India enjoys a predominant kind of a place in Indian Ocean region, and hence we are always a first responder, preferred partner of choice of any other country. So herein lies the importance of India being both maritime as well as a continental power. But it's the quirks of history actually which has made us look towards the continent, and yet in the same continental landmass it actually hinders our growth. In the sense, if India was today, it can't travel west. Even if we wanted to send aid to Afghanistan to the overland route, it's not possible. We can't travel north because China is there in Tibet, and we can't travel east because Myanmar is perpetually embroiled in some kind of an ethnic kind of a conflict. So if we can't travel for trade anywhere else, then the only way left for us is towards the ocean. So if you have a look, India actually is like an island nation. We only can look towards the seas, and I think the long-term future of the destiny of India will lie in the seas and not on the continental landmass. let's have a look at what does China's geography state to us. China again, like India, presents